Good morning, everybody. Good morning, YouTube. If you're watching this as a replay, you can fast forward about 9 minutes or so, and we'll get started that way. If not, and you're here for the party, good to have you along. Let's get rid of that. I needed that. Shoot. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do this. And let's see if we got some audio coming across. Let me know if you're on YouTube watching here. Is the audio coming? All right. I got that ready. There we go. Hopefully everything's going just dandy in your side. Look at here. We have cloudy skies. We have a chance of rain today, which would be welcomed. How much of a chance? I think it's like less than 10%. Yeah. Oh, I take that back. They upped it. Within the last hour, it's now up to 80% moisture. I bet it goes around us. Syllabus. All right, let's see here. I'm going to get the guest on the radio. Move this over a little bit. That's loud in my ears. Whoops. Uh-oh. Hope that didn't mess things up.
Good morning.
Ron Ness, how are you?
I'm well.
You're live on YouTube before we get on the radio side.
Well, good morning.
There you go. So,
it's a beautiful day.
You know, not too shabby. You guys getting any cloud cover up that way? Chance of rain or what?
Well, we had a little shower come through Bismarck last night. It probably didn't accumulate to a whole bunch, but it sure felt good. It cooled it down a little bit. But no, it's pretty clear skies, light wind. Pretty good outdoors day today.
Closer and closer to hunting season, my friend.
Kind of starting to feel it a little bit, Scott.
Yeah.
I've kind of got my day scheduled around that today. A little going out to the sporting clays for the first time this year. I'm going to try and go down to Shields and get a couple new arrows, and I'm going to go out and work on some stuff for my hunting stuff this fall.
It's a good thing.
I put up a camera.
I purchased John Armin's bow, and I have not yet to set that up for myself. I got to get that going. Updated my bow from a old Maxis. I have no idea what I bought from John here. No idea what.
I'm guessing it's going to glide. Those arrows are going to glide out of that bow pretty well for you.
I hope so.
Won't take.
Yeah. It's just amazing how fast these things have gotten. You know, just faster and faster every time, and quieter.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing weapons right now. Actually, unfortunately, I'm not particularly efficient, but fun to shoot.
Yeah, I guess I gotta look at my game and fish to see if I got my archery tag or not. I don't remember if I got that when I got my new license or what I did there.
Oh, that's a good reminder.
Yeah,
it takes a while too. I think we can walk through that on the radio show too. All those things, because you tend to forget. I would have forgotten completely about it, Scott, until about that week, and then I'd have been in a panic. So I'm going to put that on. I'm going to also put that on my list of
things.
Guy kind of needs a little bit of a checklist here, right? So
a person does. I was down fishing in South Dakota 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And it's so nice to drive down, just go on to the Game and Fish website in South Dakota, and you can get your fishing license right there. Now they did something different in South Dakota. It's a little more expensive this year. You have to get a general game license in order to. You just can't get a fishing license only anymore. So they updated that. So it's a little bit more expensive. Yeah. A habitat stamp is what I had to buy for $25.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. well, they kind of do that to all the big game tags now in all these
Yeah.
states too. Some of them you got to buy that just to apply for a tag or even a point.
Yeah. The preference point.
Getting points in some of these western states has gotten kind of crazy. I can't remember what the deal was in Colorado this year. I just said heck with it.
Yeah. Do you put in for a lot of other states?
I don't. I've been too busy at home, but I'm gonna start looking to try and get out and do a little more antelope hunting and mule deer hunting across Montana or Wyoming, probably. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially this year, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to go to Canada. So
no,
we go to Canada goose hunting every year, and that doesn't appear to be an option. So I'm going to kind of in a scramble for September. But got no shortage of fall sports.
Well,
So
September. I mean, you got archery season, you have antelope season, and mountain lion season starts up, and
grouse, partridge.
Yeah, that's
probably
true.
Spend a little more time doing that. I usually do that a couple of Saturdays and Sundays, but I've actually enjoyed that a lot the last few years. Still haven't figured out a good way to eat them yet, but some people do.
They say wrap them in bacon, put it in the oven at 350 for about 20 minutes, unwrap it, throw the grouse away, and eat the bacon.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard.
Yeah, I've got some guys that grill them. They marinate them in Estes. They grill them, just flash crash, grill them hot and fast, and I just can't seem to make that happen. So
I've been having a lot of grouse here, just cutting hay and what have you. There's a fair amount of grouse right now. It's actually
is there really?
Yeah, actually dust off one of my shotguns and go out there, and I haven't hunted grouse for ages. You don't see many people do that anymore.
I actually, it's a lot of fun, and it's great practice for the dogs, of course, because you got to try and figure out how to kind of hold them close, and they're not running crazy with all those, hopefully all those pheasants running around this year. But
according to the
we'll see if we can get
spring
some
count
pheasant reports this morning.
Yeah, it says that it's up, so we should 1 to 18%.
Well, the spring count is up. It's always those middle 3 weeks in June that I think are the critical weeks in terms of the hatch and the survival of the chick. So we'll get an update maybe today. We'll rattle some cages and see what we can find out there amongst people being out and about. So
exactly. Let's see.
I've been trying to get. I was up this morning having breakfast, trying to we'll just say chase a rabbit out of my yard, and I couldn't even scare it with my BB gun. I was thinking, now if we were out at your place today, no wind. Let's see, we'd be cranking in at about 400 yards.
Yeah,
might be time for a technology update.
Little breeze here, but it would be. Man, the dogs are sure moving. There's new towns popping up everywhere. It's saddening in some of the pastures here. All right, we got 30 seconds. Standby here. Stations, 30 seconds on mark. 30 seconds. Get ready to go again. 15 seconds on mark. Morning, Karen. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors. I'm your host, Scott Bachmeyer, here, and this morning, hoping you're having a great one so far. Broadcasting out of the bunkhouse. It's a little overcast here at the ranch here this morning. Hopefully, an 80% chance of rain, and I hope it happens. We're getting a little dry again here. And it looks to be another great day here. A couple of events coming up here before we get started this morning. The Oahe Sunset 6th Annual Couples Fishing Tournament is going to be next Saturday, July 25th. 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. There are three-place payouts here. The largest non-walleye, it's a two-person team, one man, one woman, $50 a team, 100% payback. You can stop at Oahe Sunset for the rules meeting. Also, the Friends for North Dakota Vets annual Ride to Honor is coming up Saturday, August 1st. You can meet at I believe it's Jamestown Civic Center at 9:30 at Jamestown Civic Center. Ride leaves at about 11 o'clock sharp. And everybody's welcome to join in here. Big appreciation to our vets. And this is sponsored by the North Dakota Patriot Guard. If you want more information, you can go to their Facebook page as well. So there you go. Hey, this morning, we'd like to welcome my guest, Mr. Ron Ness, president of the North Dakota Petroleum Council. Good morning, Ron. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Scott. It's another great Saturday in North Dakota, and lots of outdoor activities today. And I'm with you. I hope for a little bit of rain. It was a beautiful morning early in Bismarck when I got up and took my dogs out. And you're right, it is starting to cloud up to the west here. A little bit of breeze coming up, but boy, those mosquitoes were crazy this morning, Scott. And that means a good thing. It's rained a little bit, though.
Yeah, it means you have moisture. Maybe a guy should start a mosquito season and start shooting them, maybe with your BB gun.
Well,
get more accurate.
According to this morning, you would have had a lot of opportunities to burn some bullets. So.
Well, every month we like to get in touch with you around here to check out what's happening at the North Dakota Petroleum Council. And first off, what's a barrel of oil worth right now today?
Well, oil was over $40 this week, and you know what? North Dakota barrel is the discounts had improved a little bit. So I'd say probably in that $32, probably maybe 30. If you look back to the state of North Dakota released their production report yesterday for the month of May, and of course that was a pretty dose of reality in terms of what happened to us with COVID and no demand. Oil production was at 858,000 barrels a day. That's down 600,000 barrels a day from probably February. The price, though, is something that I think really tells a story, Scott. And you know how that goes. Price is what drives the train. And the average price of a barrel of North Dakota Bakken oil was about $14 realized price in the month of May. And that will lead to shutdown wells, and of course we have a whole new set of challenges with this DAPL pipeline court ruling, which 570,000 barrels of market taken away. I mean, that's what you're looking at. So we sure got to hope for a common sense approach out of this D.C. District Court of Appeals in the next week or so here. That is an extremely important long-term decision. The ramifications of that, of having to find a new market and paying just a lot more in terms of transportation to get your product to not as good of a market. So that's going to have a big impact, I think, on what happens in the future.
So I read some headlines on social media. It says that the Dakota Access Pipeline, DAPL, was not going to shut down because of something or another. Is that headline true, or are they still pumping today, or did they actually have to shut down?
No, they were ordered to have the pipeline emptied of oil by August 5th, which is, virtually impossible. But then the Court of Appeals that it was appealed up to put a temporary stay on that action. So at this point, the pipeline is still operating. Producers are still in a quandary trying to figure out where's my next market for my oil if I can't send my oil down that pipeline, and then is it going to be on rail? Is it going to be? There's just not enough capacity to move that oil, and certainly that time frame is ridiculous. But there's absolutely no rationale to have that pipeline empty to do this environmental impact statement. The environmental assessment that was done, which was approved by the Corps of Engineers underneath the Obama administration to allow this pipeline, was the most extensive environmental analysis that had been done anywhere. And that, along with all of the work of the North Dakota Public Service Commission, I question the need for the environmental impact statement, but whatever.
Yeah.
But you don't need to shut down a pipeline that's been operating for 3+ years in order to look at the ground and to look at the issues surrounding it that have nothing to do really with the daily flow of oil through that pipeline. So
is it just
that's a big deal.
Is it just anti-pipeliners, anti-oil people that are, enforcing this here and just continuing to be a thorn in our side?
Well, I think you can read the ruling from this judge. This is the power of these district judges across this country is something that should be recognized. You have I don't know what the number is, like 400 of these district court judges, and they essentially have the power to shut down anything anywhere in the country. And this ruling, as you read it, is very political, and I think it's more of an anti-Trump ruling than it is anything. This judge had ruled to allow the pipeline to be proceed 3.5 years ago, but this is an anti-Trump ruling, in my opinion, and the Trump administration came out this week with NEPA reform, and NEPA is the National Environmental Policy Act, which was created 50 years ago, and it was really a process that was determined just to make sure you always take a look at the impacts of any type of project that's going forth, and it has evolved into this huge opportunity to create an obstacle or a roadblock, and it hasn't been updated. So I actually think that the updates in the NEPA Act by the Trump administration look pretty reasonable, and like everything else, we all should up our game, and a lot of those delays that were put in place were for snail mail and just allowing people to get stuff 50 years ago versus today's ability to move information fast. And just looking at how fast this DC Court of Appeals acted this week, in a matter of a half a day, they made big decisions. So we can move information faster now. We've got it more readily available. We can move these processes along, and they don't have to take 5 years, 2 years, 4 years, 5 years. Who can plan anything 5 years out, let alone 2 weeks out for me?
Yeah, 5 hours from now, I don't know what I'm going to be doing. Hey, a text message comes in. It says, "Ask Ron, what price does a barrel of oil have to be before a well is like breaking even financially?"
Well, I think an existing well that's out there producing right now, certainly when you can, get oil up over that $40, I think that well is economically. You've already drilled that well. You've paid for that well. That's a big difference, though, than looking at bringing back a drilling rig or a completion crew and drilling a new $7 million well. And I thought, prior to this DAPL ruling, I thought we were going to have more and more wells coming back online, and that's what brings the people back to work, Scott. That's what puts the people, and that's the heartbreaker of all of this stuff, is that the latest unemployment insurance numbers for the oil patch, about 10,000 people not working out there. Yeah. And well, Ron, as this PPP money goes out, it's going to get tougher.
Hold on here. We're going to go into our first break. Hold that thought. We'll be back more. Ron Ness, North Dakota Petroleum Council, is my guest. We'll be back after these messages. Pifer's Western team of Andy Murdoch and Jim Savvy would like to invite you to sit down and talk about the future of land planning. Whether you're looking at selling, buying, or options to hand it down to the next generation, Andy and Jim will lay out all of the options for you. It's a great time to buy or sell, and with interest rates to make it profitable. Pifer's Western team, Andy Murdoch and Jim Savvy. For more information or land updates, go to pifers.com. Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. These are challenging times for our state, but the North Dakota oil and gas industry wants you to know they're coming back better than ever. The Bakken is still one of the best energy resources in the world and will be for generations to come. And through it all, the oil industry remains committed to developing our state's natural resources in harmony with our great outdoors and wildlife. This message is brought to you by the North Dakota Petroleum Council.
The North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame in historic Medora is open for the 2020 summer season. All safety precautions have been taken, with social distancing guidelines enforced and hand sanitizer stations in place. Come see the beautiful new displays for 2020, including the amazing bronze collection in the Hall of Honorees. Shop our wonderful gift shop with merchandise available celebrating 25 years of the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame. We'd love to see you at the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame in historic Medora.
MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Molrest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust provides ag loans for all stages of growth, from seed to harvest. Our expert agribusiness lending staff specializes in loans for livestock, equipment, vehicles, and operating. With our roots in agribusiness lending, you can be assured that our lending staff will provide you with prompt and reliable service. In other words, our ag loan officers will always keep your best interests in mind. Stop by your local Dakota Community Bank and Trust today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
These are challenging times for our state, but the North Dakota oil and gas industry wants you to know they're coming back better than ever. The Bakken is still one of the best energy resources in the world and will be for generations to come. And through it all, the oil industry remains committed to developing our state's natural resources in harmony with our great outdoors and wildlife. This message is brought to you by the North Dakota Petroleum Council. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Molrest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust provides ag loans for all stages of growth, from seed to harvest. Our expert agribusiness lending staff specializes in loans for livestock, equipment, vehicles, and operating. With our roots in agribusiness lending, you can be assured that our lending staff will provide you with prompt and reliable service. In other words, our ag loan officers will always keep your best interests in mind. Stop by your local Dakota Community Bank and Trust today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down.
Welcome back, everybody. Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition continues here all across the Dakota Territory. KGFX in Pierre, South Dakota, and Fort Pierre. KOLY, Mobridge. Had a great time fishing with Brent Chemnitz at MoPro Guide Service up there a couple weeks ago. Absolutely phenomenal. Fun little town. I enjoy it. KFYR, Bismarck, Mandan. KCJB up in the Minot area. And, of course, KLTC, Dickinson, North Dakota, home of the Western Edge right there. Good to have you along here this morning. Ron Ness from the North Dakota Petroleum Council is my guest. Ron, welcome back. Part two. And I cut you off before about talking about unemployment rates and everything, looking in the oil patch. And how is the unemployment rate? Because I talked to a gentleman that was doing some AI and breeding projects up in that Watford City area. And he says the traffic is just kind of back to the way it used to be like 15, 20 years ago and kind of slowed down quite a bit. Is that true?
Well, I think, Scott, that is very true. You shut down essentially, now we're probably 5,000 Bakken wells shut in. We've gone from 55 drilling rigs to 10. We've gone from 25 completion crews to 1 or 2. And, essentially most of the gas plant projects are kind of being put on hold. So things are pretty quiet. And of course,
Yeah.
we're hoping some of that comes back online. But this last week would have been our Cook Fest week, and we would have had our Bakken Rocks Cook Fest in Arnegard and Mohall, and we would have had our big fishing derby. We usually have a big walleye derby out of Newtown, which is 300 fishermen, and we raise money for Conservation and Habitat Project and our great partners, the Mule Deer Foundation. So what we've done is we got a little something different going on because everybody's kind of itchy out there, and we want to give them an opportunity to get out and mostly burn some of that Bakken gasoline. But the Bakken backers, you can go to the Bakken backers website, and we've put together a Bakken Rides. It's called. It's we've partnered with
Summer
the Oil
Rides
Field Helping Hands.
Yeah, it says
Summer Rides,
Summer
Bakken
Rides.
Summer Rides, or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's the next 3 Saturdays. And if you got a hot rod, a motorcycle, or whatever, we've just put together some events that people can get out and take a cruise across North Dakota. And we partnered with the Oil Field Helping Hands, which helps oil field families in financial times of need, and along with On the Water, which is a fantastic group of folks that helps veterans and wounded warriors and takes them fishing. So next Saturday, we'll be starting out at Newcoda Energy Services in Minot, and it'll go up to Lake Metagoshi, and there's things along the way where you can stop and get an ice cream cone or something. Saturday, August 1st is Dickinson to Bowman. I believe these all start at 8:30 in the morning, local time. And on August 8th, it's at Indian Hills, and it's a float. It's a bring your pontoon, bring your boat. There's going to be brats and various things, but you can register for these. I think it's $20 just to go to charity or something like that, and that money all goes to these various groups and go to Bakken backers. So something to do out in western North Dakota. We just felt it was a need to get together and do something. So
it's kind of cool. Bakken Summer, Bakken Summer Rides. I'm on the Facebook page here. You can find it there too on social media. Drive, ride, and boat here is what it says. All 3 weekends. It's pretty cool. That's anybody can join in on this and have a little fun with it. Do you have to have a hot rod? Can I use my ranch pickup?
You can use anything you please as long as it burns a lot of gasoline. That's my rule today.
Trust me, 7 miles to the gallon, and that's not hauling anything here. So, but yeah, it's one of those things. People are. You said earlier about not burning up any fuel, and you've seen that kind of in the during this COVID thing. People want to get out right now. I really feel that they want to get out and do something, and it seems like they're doing more outdoor activities. RV camper sales are like up, what was it, 400%? Boat sales are up, UTV and ATV sales are up. It seems like they want to get out and do more of the outdoor recreation stuff instead of just the, let's just cruise to the movie theaters or what have you. It seems like that outdoor is kind of a big thing right now.
Yeah, and you can't find a bicycle. I'm not sure where you'd have to go to find a bicycle. So, no, there aren't any bicycles available. But I think you're right, Scott, and we're in the middle of July here. As North Dakotans, we got to realize that we're starting to slip on the downside here. In the next half hour, you and I are going to talk hunting, but holy cow, it's time to get out and enjoy North Dakota before it starts getting chilly. So we got to make it happen.
But okay, I enjoy the chilly thing because that means coyote hunting is around the corner for me. And kind of looking forward to that. You got to come out. You got to come out and bring your son. And we got to call in some coyotes on the Prairie Dog Town at the same time.
Ooh, that sounds like an opportunity to me. But so today, Scott, I'm kind of curious from our listeners what they're seeing out there in terms of pheasant hatch, and if they're seeing broods on the ground, and that rain came maybe just at the right time. I think we felt it was pretty dry, and I don't know if you've been outdoors, Scott, but we're starting to see some pretty good horns on top of the velvet horns on top of these deer showing up in and out. So it's kind of fun. I saw a couple pretty good pronghorn yesterday. So how about things looking down in your area?
I tell you what, the pronghorn antelope sure seem that they're increasing in numbers in this area. I know it's always south of Highway 12 and from southern Bowman County and into South Dakota. I mean, I was down in the Black Hills a couple weekends ago, And the drive from Ludlow, South Dakota to Belle Fourche, I mean, there's just pronghorn all the time. And that's kind of normal. But for this area where I'm at here, I'm seeing the numbers increase. And I'm curious because I know they did the antelope survey, what was it, a week ago or so? I know they were flying in a lot of different areas around here. So I'm interested to see what they come up with numbers. And I think they're going to be higher. I really do. Well, at least I think they're going to.
I would imagine Game and Fish will be coming out with their applications and their number of tags here, and pretty generally happens around the end of the month, doesn't it?
Yeah, it usually does. And then I know it's kind of a short time for people to get in with planning their vacations around pronghorn hunting if they get drawn. But I know it's kind of a short one. But hopefully, cross our fingers, man. I'm hoping to get a gratis tag this year.
I'm not sure how many points it takes to get a pronghorn tag, but I think I've got about 10 points. So maybe I'm due. So.
I think you're probably due for one. Yeah, 10 years you haven't gone. You haven't. Holy cow, that's a. Yeah.
Well, they didn't have a season for quite a few years.
That's
if you
true.
Recall.
Yeah, they did close it up for quite a while, didn't they? Yeah, it's
right.
nice to see it coming back. It's nice seeing that. The one thing I'm not seeing in this area, mule deer anymore. A lot less and less mule deer this summer than the previous summer, and there was less that summer too.
That's interesting because the mule deer numbers are up, and or do you have elk or something, or what's moving in? Are they just being moved out?
Yep, that's exactly what it is here. I don't know if you saw my latest Facebook post here, but my cows are now identifying as elk. If you keep up to date on my social media page, but yeah, seeing more and more of those, and right now it's kind of they're making their. Oh, I guess I saw, 5 cows and 5 calves here the other day. Yesterday, was it yesterday morning or the day before? Day before. So I seen them, and about, I think, it's 7 bulls here up in the neighbor's oats field here recently. And, the oats and the barley's getting to the perfect stage right now around where the elk are coming and starting to do that grazing up on the flats now. But definitely, see them. I guess I can honestly tell you I see more elk than I do mule deer bucks right now.
That is absolutely amazing. How you didn't have elk there too many years ago, did you?
Well, they've always been around. I think 15 years now they've been hanging around here. It's just more and more prevalent year after year. Nothing big though. That's the problem. Everybody calls me for hunting elk, and I'm like, they got their once in a lifetime tag. I'm like, heck yeah. If you want a very average elk, you can come on down. And they're like, well, we don't want that. So we don't have the big boys like they do up in the Medora area, I guess. So not enough protein in the oats and the sagebrush out here, I guess. What do you do, Ron?
Well, I assume that if you get enough of them, eventually they'll find something to eat that'll make them big, don't you think?
I don't know. I got to do a little more research on the growth of elk on there. I know a lot of people are putting out minerals and everything for their deer and whitetails. They can grow big whitetails. Maybe that's what I got to do is start. They've been eating the mineral out of the cattle lick block, so maybe that's helping them. We're up against our next break. Second half of the hour is coming up. Ron Ness for the North Dakota Petroleum Council. We'll be talking all outdoors and hunting, and your chance to call in and join in. Back after this.
Pfeiffer's Western team of Andy Murdoch and Jim Savvy would like to invite you to sit down and talk about the future of land planning. Whether you're looking at selling, buying, or options to hand it down to the next generation, Andy and Jim will lay out all of the options for you. It's a great time to buy or sell, and with interest rates to make it profitable. Pfeiffer's Western team, Andy Murdoch and Jim Savvy. For more information or land updates, go to Pfeiffers.com.
Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. These are challenging times for our state, but the North Dakota oil and gas industry wants you to know they're coming back better than ever. The Bakken is still one of the best energy resources in the world and will be for generations to come. And through it all, the oil industry remains committed to developing our state's natural resources in harmony with our great outdoors and wildlife. This message is brought to you by the North Dakota Petroleum Council.
The North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame in historic Medora is open for the 2020 summer season. All safety precautions have been taken, with social distancing guidelines enforced and hand sanitizer stations in place. Come see the beautiful new displays for 2020, including the amazing bronze collection in the Hall of Honorees. Shop our wonderful gift shop with merchandise available celebrating 25 years of the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame. We'd love to see you at the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame in historic Medora.
MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Morest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust provides ag loans for all stages of growth, from seed to harvest. Our expert agribusiness lending staff specializes in loans for livestock, equipment, vehicles, and operating. With our roots in agribusiness lending, you can be assured that our lending staff will provide you with prompt and reliable service. In other words, our ag loan officers will always keep your best interests in mind. Stop by your local Dakota Community Bank and Trust today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
These are challenging times for our state, but the North Dakota oil and gas industry wants you to know they're coming back better than ever. The Bakken is still one of the best energy resources in the world and will be for generations to come. And through it all, the oil industry remains committed to developing our state's natural resources in harmony with our great outdoors and wildlife. This message is brought to you by the North Dakota Petroleum Council. MoPro Guide Service, the best on Lake Oahe. Brent and his staff will give you the most enjoyable fishing experience, always having the latest in electronics, gear, and the most comfortable Lund boat on the water. Fish with somebody who lives in Mobridge, South Dakota, the heart of Lake Oahe. If you need a place to stay, the Morest Motel has newly updated rooms with free internet, a family-owned and operated business. Go to OaheWalleyes.com. That's OAHE Walleyes.com for the best fishing experience Lake Oahe has to offer. Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy.
Dakota Community Bank and Trust provides ag loans for all stages of growth, from seed to harvest. Our expert agribusiness lending staff specializes in loans for livestock, equipment, vehicles, and operating. With our roots in agribusiness lending, you can be assured that our lending staff will provide you with prompt and reliable service. In other words, our ag loan officers will always keep your best interests in mind. Stop by your local Dakota Community Bank and Trust today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
On that road, but don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition. Having a great time. Benny Paulson, Breaking 8 music right there. He also has a rodeo rockin' show. He's got a podcast. I'll get that information. It's a good one. And listen to the podcast. I keep forgetting the sequence of the names. But anyway, thanks to Breaking 8 for giving me permission to use their music on my radio show. Ron Ness, North Dakota Petroleum Council, is my guest here. That's what you need to do, is get you up there with Benny Paulson too, and get you on his podcast, Ron. That's sit in the saddle in his studio, man.
That's all new to me, Scott. So I
I had
Speaking of sitting in a saddle, I imagine you were probably in the saddle of the four-wheeler yesterday. I know
Yep.
you were out helping a neighbor in need. It was so unbelievably hot in Bismarck. I can't imagine how hot it was out in the Badlands moving cattle all day yesterday. But you're probably a little punchy today.
I'm a little bit tired, but it's always a good day when you're moving cattle. It's always a good day when you're just doing it with good friends and neighbors, and it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. Now, Jesse asked if he could bring his 1973 Caprice to the summer rides for the Bakken summer rides here, and you said not a problem, just no spray foam. Is that what you said? Or
Absolutely, have at it. Scott, I'm going to do a couple things a little different today. It's it's getting in mid-July. It's time to kind of start getting out of the fishing mode and the golf mode or whatever mode. But I'm going to go shooting a sporting clays event out at the Capital City Sporting Clays. First time I've been out there this year, so it's always kind of a humbling experience to go out and try your hand at that. But I'm also
have you ever done sporting clays before?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do them a couple times a year, but it is so challenging and so much fun. So it's going to be fun to go dig the shotgun out of the safe and get some of the hunting gear out today. And I'm planning to go down to Shields and get some new arrows for my bow. And I think I've been to Shields like 2 times, Scott, since this whole COVID thing hit. So it's like I might have to get a tour when I get in there. You think?
I was in there. I had to go in, and I updated my Kenetrek boots for my hunting boots. I got a non-insulated pair, and I just, Kenetrek is not a sponsor of mine, and that's okay. But the most comfortable hiking and hunting boots that you will ever put on your feet. I don't know what you use, but my Lord, they're nice.
I use Kenetrek, and they are just absolutely unbelievable. Yeah. I've kind of worn them out, so I'm probably too cheap to go and buy a new pair. I just keep taking them and getting them repaired a little bit. But we were going to talk a little bit about, Scott, about getting prepared for hunting season and getting your bow tag early, because that's not quite as handy as it used to be. Just walking into Shields or somewhere buying it over the counter. You got to do it in advance, so you got to put that on your to-do list. So.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that is nice now. You can just do it on your phone or your computer. You can get that, if you're computer savvy to do that enough here. But I enjoy it. And I always forget, on the 1st of April in the North Dakota side of things, you have to update your licenses and get ready to go for a new year. And when I do that, the bow tags are not available at that time. And I always forget, because I think they're out right now. You can actually go online and be able to get that. So I need to get that done. And it's easy to do. I mean, it's not really hard. And I also need to get my archery tag applied for South Dakota pronghorn. That's on my to-do list here this fall as well. And I'm excited for that. I know you said too, September coming around, we have all kinds of hunting opportunities opening up. Grouse season is opening up. We have archery season opening up. Both deer and antelope, and mountain lion season on the North Dakota border. South Dakota starts in December. So it's coming around. I'm excited for another year of hunting season.
Yeah, and Scott, the other thing that's coming up probably less than 2 months away is the youth doe season. So I've got a nephew who's 11 now. So it's time to get those kids out and do a little shooting and get them familiar with that rifle, and get them out and do a little scouting and figure out where they're going to hunt, kind of go through things, because that is a tremendous challenge. Getting it's a lot of fun and a great opportunity for kids to get out with their parents and stuff, but it is a big challenge to get those kids out there. If you wait till the day, it's not like they need some time. They just need some prep time. And I think that's a big part of the fun, actually, is getting them ready and getting prepared, rather than just taking them out and, taking a whack at a doe. So spend a couple months at it and do a lot of shooting, and they enjoy that as much as you or I do. So.
Yeah. Well, just being comfortable pulling that trigger for a kid is getting them so they don't flinch and they're not scared of it or anything. That's just a huge thing when you're looking at getting a nice ethical shot on a doe. Now, phone lines are open. Just to remind people, 888-9-DAKOTA is the number, 888-932-5682. That's 888-932-5682. Call in. Tell us what you're seeing in your area for mule deer, white-tailed deer, pheasants, grouse, antelope, any of that stuff. Ron and I would be more than happy to talk with you and discuss what's going on here across the Dakota Territory. And, earlier we were talking about pheasant, and you said the spring pheasant count, and I'm just looking, it says here, the index is up 15% from the same time last year. And I'm curious. I haven't been pheasant hunting in 2 years, Ron. And I think it's time. We need to put together maybe a Petroleum Council pheasant derby or something that we can get out and enjoy it a little bit.
Absolutely. I'm hoping the numbers. I have not seen broods of pheasants yet. I've been seeing a lot of roosters along the road, and I suspect with the habitat's growing up fairly tall. But I sure hope the broods are there and they're in good numbers this year, because we saw a pretty good jump in and around the Bismarck area last year.
Okay.
The Mott area was still really tough, so I hope things have improved over by Mott. It's pretty crazy when there's more pheasants every place else you hunt than there is around Mott. I don't know. That was just a very, very tough couple of years in Mott.
John Arman, a friend of ours here, he is actually releasing pheasant on his property. He's doing some type of a conservation thing with pheasant in that flasher area. So, there are chances if a person does want to increase your, kind of habitat, it's easy to do that. And if you want to, buy some of these pheasant, I know a lot of people have them, and we can't raise real good pheasant out here in the Badlands, though, Ron. I think it would take a lot of habitat to make sure the pheasants would be happy out this way.
Well, I think like John, there's a lot of people just really doing whatever they can. They're releasing bred hens, they're releasing pheasants, they're doing whatever they can. I'm an old school habitat guy, Scott. You've got to build the habitat. You've got to have it there, and in some areas where there aren't pheasants, you probably got to try and release them. But it's kind of predator bait. Survival rate isn't high, but at least you're doing something. But I still think making sure you've got quality habitat for those birds and places for them to be. And of course, it's very dependent upon water, which is one of the things that I've learned, is making sure that there's moisture and water available for them. The other thing we probably should talk about, Scott, is a little bit about the Mule Deer Foundation and what's going on. This is a really challenging time for everybody, but it's a really, really challenging time for nonprofit fundraising events. I lost count of how many banquets, gunapaloozas, various events that the Mule Deer Foundation across its entire western states have not had. They have been doing a very good job, though, of adapting and coming up with these online giveaways, and you can find those. If you're a Mule Deer member, you probably get them emailed to you, but you can go to the Mule Deer Foundation website and find some of those, and they're giving you great opportunities to join raffles for guns, or just flat out buy some of the guns underneath their special deals in terms of mule deer stuff. But it's going to be really challenging, and a lot of the projects have been kind of put on hold. We had Marshall Johnson come out to one of our tree planting projects and engage in that, but it's difficult to get people together, and you're not certain what to do. But long term, ensuring that these groups are, as all of us are members of them, ensuring that we support them and make sure they can keep their staff on board and keep their finances in check. So keep that in mind. I don't know what's going to happen with banquets this fall, but there's a lot of banquets in October, November. So we hope they can have them.
You think about that fundraising is for conservation, no matter whether it's mule deer or NRA or whitetails or ducks or pheasants or any of that. Those organizations all of them are having a hard time, with this COVID and social distancing and being closed down, and not being able to have the public fundraiser where everybody gets together and has a good time, and we have some live auctions and raise some money. And now, you specified it's going to be a lot less probably conservation money. So what can the average person out here do to help? I mean, we were talking conservation. What would you like to see for conservation? Is it trees? Is it water sources? Is it a combination of all of that? Or what could somebody, if they have 160 acres, what could they do?
Well, I think it's all of that, Scott. I always think that if you've got land that's, marginal land or something, getting that land into some grass and some good, getting it restored, you might have to plant something on it for a few years and put some of the nutrients back into the ground. But then getting getting some good grass is number one, and then obviously some type of moisture along that. And if you go down to the western states, and what I see in the Mule Deer Foundation is that, boy, water is absolutely essential. They spend more money on water out in most other western states than we would ever dream of in North Dakota, because you have to have water. And then obviously, then you start supplementing that with trees appropriate for the type of terrain and landscape you're in, and then obviously food is always a big deal, and having the right food and adjacent to the wildlife, and I think is critical especially for pheasants. The deer and the other animals will move from water to food in pretty big distances, but that adjacent heavy cover for pheasants in winter is critical. So I just got a text here from a buddy of mine, Scott. He says, I'm buying a new toy for the Bakken summer rides in 39 minutes. So I have no idea what that means, but I'm guessing what
new Harley,
something like a Harley, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
39.
So there we go. We're stimulating the economy. So the store must open. I don't know what time it is or where he's at or how he figured that out, but he's obviously pretty fired up about it.
That's awesome. I got a text message. It says the muley doe and pheasant are in good condition up in I believe this would be like the Golden Valley area, and muley bucks and whitetails are just average right now. That comes from Jamie. Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate you listening out there. So yeah, I tell you what, I mean, new Harleys and new bows, new archery equipment, maybe even a new rifle. We can stimulate not only the maybe a motorcycle dealer. We can't really specify it's a Harley, I guess, can we? Because there's plenty of other motorcycle brands out there that they could probably purchase. But we could.
Scott, the other thing this year is that we always, we talk about, where are you going to hunt? What are you going to hunt? And we always go to Canada goose hunting in September, and it looks like Canada's pretty well shut down. So we might find that there's a whole lot of people working from home, and there's going to be a lot more outdoor days for North Dakotans around North Dakota this year. So we're going to have to probably get a little bit of creative in terms of all the extra things. You got doves, you've got grouse, you've got you still got prairie dogs in October and September and October, right, Scott? So,
you can hunt them year round, my friend. As long as it's a nice sunny day, they're on top of snowbanks. It's awesome.
Really?
Yes.
That'd be kind of fun, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's a great time. It is a great time. Plus, you can call in coyotes on top of them later on, because the coyotes can smell them buggers a long ways away. So it's good stuff. So you were talking about game cameras off air here during one of our breaks, and I told you I'll tell the folks too. I kind of got a little bit away from game cameras because I would set some up, and I would have like just awesome bucks coming in, and just like, oh my God, this is going to be such a slam dunk when it comes to archery season. And as soon as it opened up, nothing to be found anymore. They were non-existent. So I just stopped getting my hopes up here. But you were talking about not having enough time to be able to go check cameras sometimes. And I said, how about the cellular ones that just send you the photos? And I think that's what you and I need to do, maybe, is get those text messages every half hour about, the big monster buck coming in or something.
Well, it would be a lot easier. I've kind of gotten away from game cameras. I was thinking maybe this year that I'd put a few out. It's always nice to know what's in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
Who's in the hood. So, but if you're going to do game cameras, it's like anything else, and especially depends on where they're at and things. But it's a commitment, and you got to get out there, and it's kind of like trapping. But yeah, the folks who have these new camera setups that you just absolutely get a text message with what passed through your game camera last night. That seems like a pretty cool deal, and some people have issues with that, and I guess it's all relative to what you choose. But
yeah,
to me, it's just more about seeing what's out there and kind of getting a sense of look at all these deer, and it's like practicing with kids, right? It's more than just a hunt. It's not just a hunt. It gets you fired up throughout the fall and the year. And so
I think it's fun watching wildlife. And I think that's one of the safest ways to do it is without bugging them is a game camera. I think it's a great idea. I just get depressed because I can't find the same deer that I see on my camera. Maybe that's the problem. I got to get out more and do it instead of relying on the camera. Maybe I should just sit on top of that butte a little bit longer and glass a little bit more.
Well, there's a lot of pretty interesting statistics on how animals change their behavior in terms of how they move in each of these months that are coming up. So it's probably something that you can think you have them pretty well patterned in the midsummer, but boy, they just begin changing their feeding patterns and their habitat patterns and everything. So I did just get a text here from somebody down in your area, and this guy knows pheasants in and around that Scranton Bowman area, and he says pheasant population area looks to be up. I've been spraying corn and beans and seeing lots of young birds, and that is really good news.
Oh, you want to talk
that
about
that might just get you an invite to a pheasant hunt, Scott.
Here's the thing: is a lot of people think that Mott, Richardson, that's the spots, right? They forget that there's some secret spots down in the south of Scranton and that Bowman area that are just pheasant havens as well. There's a lot of good hunting ground. There's no doubt about that.
I am never taking you fishing, Scott.
No, you should.
I'm not taking you fishing. You can't be telling people where to go.
Why not?
They got to go.
Why not?
They got to go northwest somewhere. So no, it is. That pheasant range is pretty big down there, and I think that New England area too.
Yeah, that's true.
New England area is fantastic, and
well, here's the thing.
I know northwest of Williston was really good last year, or last couple of years.
I think wherever you find good farm ground, and you're going to find good pheasant numbers. It just goes hand in hand how the farmers and the pheasants kind of work together on that. I mean, get some of those harvested fields, and you see some of the farmers leave strips in their fields for the birds too. You know, it's kind of nice.
To me, that's probably become the big thing, is where you're going to find pheasants is with the loss of all the CRP acres. Is you're going to find pheasants on land where there are people that have some passion about conservation and birds, and have a purposefully trying to make sure that there's the proper amount of habitat, because we have lost a lot of CRP across southwestern North Dakota, and you know that you used to drive down to Mott from Bismarck, and it was like you were dodging pheasants all the way. Well, it just those vast numbers of acres are not there, and that's going to slow the ability for the birds to recover quickly as well. So you really begin to look at, you find landowners and farmers and ranchers who look at things and find value in doing that, and I think that's the great opportunity for the Outdoor Heritage Fund as well, in my opinion, is just helping private landowners help them along a little bit on some of the things they want to do in terms of adding some habitat to their land, and finding some of these lands that are marginal, more like the original intent of CRP in some of those areas. Find the most marginal areas and try and add. And we've tried to look at that along with I think the Natural Resources Trust has a Outdoor Heritage Fund grant to look at some of these areas around oil wells in terms of kind of scattered acreages, and maybe it's wetlands or something. And do you really you get in there and you farm that 2 acres or that 2 acres in and around the power lines and things, and there's an opportunity there to develop some habitat and some conservation around those. And I like just the landowner should decide, and when the landowner decides, it'll become their project and they'll take care of it, and that's the way it should be. And that's what we've done with our Planting for the Future program. We planted about 25,000 trees this year. We're over 100,000 trees in the last 3 years. So
I appreciate you on the show here. Stay with me here. We'll continue on YouTube. All right. Thank you, radio stations. Appreciate your time. Ron, let's talk. We still have people watching on the YouTube side of things. Talk about that Planting for the Future here in the trees again.
Well, we started this program. This is our 3rd full year, and the first year we did over 60,000 trees, and we kind of got after it. It was a heavy lift, but what we found is that there's just an incredible interest out there amongst private landowners to plant trees. And of course, the soil conservation districts have tree planting programs, and they do a great job. And this is kind of a supplement to that, in my opinion. But this is the landowner's project. This is what we're going to do with the grant from the Outdoor Heritage Fund is we're going to provide the trees, and we're going to provide a consultant with a tree planter, and if you choose a fabric machine. and the landowner's going to make the decisions. The landowner's going to decide where they go, and they're going to develop. They're going to bring in the crew in order to plant these trees. It takes a tremendous amount of work. Obviously, it's it's usually one good day, but it takes a crew to get this project done. And so it's been a lot of fun to see landowners line up. We're usually booked out 2 years. Frankly, we can only do so many. I'm kind of looking for somebody that has a passion to do this and add another planting specialist in order to get out and help more landowners put trees projects in. But it's been pretty fun. So we got over 100,000 trees in 3 years. I think that's pretty good accomplishment for just a little nonprofit foundation that decided to go do something.
And does this include like shelter belts too, or do you have to? Is it just more of a habitat type tree row?
It will include shelter belts as
Okay.
long as they've got to be multiple rows. They've got to be obviously it can't be 2 rows wrapping around your trailer house or your whatever. But but in the right place, I'm telling you, if it's 25 rows wrapping around that's true habitat.
Yeah, it is.
Or 5 rows or 10 rows or something like that, because we know where those birds go when the going gets tough. So I think it's a great program, and like I said, it's one we hope to continue, and there's a lot of interest.
Yeah, well, I hope so too. Ron, I appreciate you coming on the program and staying a little bit longer here on YouTube with me. I appreciate that a lot, man.
Okay.
Have yourself a
We'll
great
see
day
you
and
later.
enjoy, man. We'll talk to you hopefully shortly.
All right. Are we checked off YouTube?
Hold on.